All right, let's get into some 10 questions. Let's have a bit of fun here.
Okay. I've made myself a note. I've had some thinking time just in case.
Yeah,
In case I didn't want to waste too much time umming and ahhing. So yeah.
no worries, man. I'm gonna all you like. So again, the first question is always the worst question to ask anyone who's a fan of any artist. Which is your favorite Tom Petty album if you absolutely had to pick one?
All right. So if I was cheating, I'd say Wildflowers and All the Rest because I could have this. I could have the best of all loads of worlds. I absolutely adore Wildflowers period onwards, and uh, I suppose there's a bit of me not wanting to be too obvious by picking Wildflowers. I'm sure that a lot of people would pick that quite rightly. Uh, I would still struggle because on all the rest, I would still want Hung Over and Overdue, and I'd
Yeah,
want I probably want Have Love Will Travel from Last DJ. There's so many great songs when Echo, Swinging. I can find a case for at least 50% of all those records that follow
yeah.
Wildfires, where I'd go. So and then you think, so going back and slightly tying into our conversation, I'm going to make a case for Long After Dark. I've even brought my
Nice.
I've even brought my copy that I bought in '85 down. So there you go. So
That's
Long
an
After
original
Dark,
pressing.
it's the 249 version from 1985. So it might
Wow.
be an original pressing. I don't know. It,
Wow.
it's from the back, plucked out of the bargain bin. It did have the 249 on, but I put it in I had it on one of those vinyl, a bit like you've got there, vinyl record displays. So I took the
Yeah.
cellophane off because I had it in that. But up till maybe 2 years ago, it was in. I left the shrink wrap on.
I
But
love it.
yeah. So my case for that would be it's got it's got You Got Lucky and there's that video. That's it's kind of synthy and weird, but One Story Town, Deliver Me, Change of Heart, We Stand a Chance, Straight into Darkness. I adore that.
Oh my God, it's just
Same Old You, Between Two Worlds. Is that one of Mike's best solos? It's really bluesy, but it's fantastic. And then Wasted Life is chilled, lovely chilled song at the end and it seems to be very heartfelt. They don't have a wasted life. I love you too much. It's like, oh, it's just like, and
yeah.
another thing I observed, 4 out of 10 of those are Mike co-writes. So Mike's really dominant on that. I think that's probably why
Yeah.
it's a guitar album. So the other thing is, and it's relatively straightforward, not too, there's quite a lot of riffing going on, but it's not like crazy. So me being what I've been playing 3 years tops by at that time, just playing along to records like that is quite accessible,
Yeah.
so sort of an inspiring. So it's just, and I played it a lot, and it was only this, it might be the first one I personally bought, or if not, it's, bought straight after Southern Accents. Southern Accents the first one I heard, but
Yeah.
whether I was sharing the copy or not with the girlfriend, I don't know. But it's like,
Yeah.
but I bought mine. So I definitely bought that one in that shop, 249, and same time as Hard Promises. But I just think it's got the edge, maybe for me anyway. It's just lots of guitar songs. Also, I adored when we later got the Running Down a Dream, the CD that came with that DVD set had my favorite version of Keeping Me Alive in, which is the one
Yeah.
that I've since found is from that French TV broadcast, which has got
That's
Stan harmonizing.
that's the definitive version as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned. That's the
yeah.
only one I ever listened to now. Yeah.
And wasn't that the one where Jimmy Iovine said, I think it was probably in the Torpedoes classic albums, he's saying you should always buy your producer after before the third album. But I think they sound renewed. It's Howie's first.
Yeah.
Howie's great. I mean, he's harmonizing. He's got lots of bass up the neck and stuff like that. He's Howie's on fire. He's obviously excited. I think Tom wanted Keeping Me Alive on, and if that had been on, might have been even better.
Well,
And the they've kind of got that back where it should be now, I think. So
yeah, it's funny because you think about that Iovine trilogy. I always think, I mean, I know that Down the Torpedoes is such a huge album and it's got, some big hits in, but I honestly do think that Long After Dark it's the sort of the perfection of that iteration of the band because they know exactly how to make a rock and roll record at that point. And that's where I think that Tom said in retrospect, it wasn't his favorite album because he thought they were doing the same thing again. But
Right.
I never get that when I listen to Long After Dark. I hear a band that is absolutely at the just the peak of their powers in the
Yeah.
studio in terms of songwriting and arrangement. There's not a wasted note on that entire
No.
album anywhere.
No.
You know what I mean? And so I'm a huge stan, as the kids say, huge fan of Long After Dark.
Yeah. So I mean, short of anything, I just can't. Otherwise, you can't decide, can you? It's just too hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
So that's as good as anything.
it's like picking your favorite kid. You can do it, but it gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number two: Mudcrutch or Traveling Wilburys?
Okay. Well, I don't know how controversial. I'm going to go Mudcrutch.
Okay.
Yep. So the Traveling Wilburys, we've said, I love them as I do. There's flaws in those LPs. I would say there's not enough Tom, really, for me. Certainly not on Volume One. I prefer the drier production of Mudcrutch. So we're talking Mudcrutch, not the pre-fame recordings that we got on playback. I'm on about
Yeah.
Mudcrutch as they reconvened in 2008. So you've got those albums falling in the classic period, and they've also got three Heartbreakers on, haven't they? Well, Tom plus Benmont and Mike. So you've got
Yeah.
a real core of the band anyway. So and it's got the drier production of the noughties. It's excellent production. I mean, Mudcrutch one, it's not called that, is it? It's called Mudcrutch. Scary
Yeah.
Easy. Topanga Cowgirl, I adore that. That's got to me. That's all Neil Young after the Gold Rush. The piano's almost like when you got Niels Lofgren to play piano on that album because he couldn't play piano. No, so it's just basically wanted someone to sound like they weren't very good. Southern
Yeah.
Man type, plinky blonky piano. Crystal River, that lovely jam. Love on the Bio, which takes us back to the late period Birds. That's a late, but the Birds had to go at that. So, and then if we're talking about the number two album, Trailer, which I did have
Oh,
on my Don't Come Around Here No More single, is it? So I knew that from the B side, and I was
yeah.
wondering, but it's a lovely song. Dreams of Flying. That's fantastic. I Forgive It All, which is had that lovely
Oh
video with
God.
Anthony Hopkins. I mean, how
Yeah.
touching is that?
Yeah.
It's just uh, what was it? Well, I love the democracy of it. So Beautiful World, Randall's Beautiful World is excellent. That's so
Yeah.
pop. I think that's maybe the poppiest thing on it.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then also we get to see we get to see Benmont, don't we? Little Welcome to Hell. So a little
Yeah.
taster of that lovely album that he's then done more recently, just to see, what more of what Benmont can do. So, but yeah, for me as well, the absolute slam dunker, as it were, he's Hungry No More.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just a.
it's just peerless,
Oh,
and that the version of the album is perfect, and then the Boston live version from American Treasure is amazing. That's the one where he says, doesn't he, at the end? I think you can see a video on YouTube as well when he says, "Thank you so much for giving us your ears tonight."
yeah.
And I really appreciate it. And I hope it was musical for you. And he stresses those two. It's lovely. And it's, I don't know. I just think, I mean, there's the words as well. I mean, he's so touching that's basically the last song that Tom released in his lifetime, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
everything, yeah. So, and you've got Won't Be There When Winter Comes. He's saying that, and he wasn't there. It wasn't that winter, but it was only one later. And then Nobody Cry for Me, The World Will Turn Somehow. I'm like thinking, I mean, anybody writing knows that one day they're not going to be there, so you might always leave a coded message for that time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was only a year later, and I just think it's just really, it's even more poignant. It's poignant
Yeah.
anyway. If he'd lived, it still would be poignant because that's still true for somebody, isn't it? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think saying that beautiful thing and the comfort in the fact he's giving you a bit of comfort in the line, the world will turn somehow.
Well, and just,
It's a bit.
but again, it's just. I mean, apart from all that, I mean, all that just adds that layer to it. But it's just a great song.
It
Like on
is.
top of
It's a
that,
great melody. It's lovely. The E-bow, Mike goes fabulous at the end. It's just so the acoustic. It's just so.
yeah,
Anyway, for all those reasons, there's plenty of fantastic
on
songs
Mudcrutch.
across those two that knock the two Wilburys albums into a cocked hat.
Okay,
So there we go.
Question three. If you're jumping up on stage with the Heartbreakers for one song, which song is it? And are you playing and or singing or just one or the other?
If Tom's still in the band, so we're not talking about some kind of other things, so I would love to do Hung Up and Overdue, and I would play a bit of guitar, but I'd love to harmonize with Tom, and I would try and do Carl's bit.
Nice.
That's what I'd try and
Very,
do.
very cool.
Yeah.
I
So
was thinking about that. I mean, I was talking to Jake Thistle about this, right? When he was, I think he was 14 or 15 or something we played with, he had Steve Ferroni behind him, Ron Blair behind him, and Jim Keltner. Just the sort of the enjoyment of playing with guys at that level would be, because I mean, obviously you've played in with a million different people. It's
but
great
not
hanging
them.
out with the musicians. But it's great hanging out with musicians because musicians
Yeah, yeah,
enjoy playing and they tend to be very, if you're the right people, tend to be generous. But
yeah,
just being with that level, but also like having these great musicians who are, it's Steve Ferroni and it's Mike
yeah.
Campbell and it's Ben Montenji, it's Tom Petty. It would just be a blast to be in that situation now.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, not too bad. I mean, just that would be such an opportunity, and that's such a beautiful song. I think Carl's
Yeah.
just insane on that. So just to sing those lovely the close harmony and then all the sorry bits at the end, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Okay. Who would be your dream opening act at a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers concert? And I'll throw in a little extra one here because you saw him a few times, right? So is there anyone when you saw Petty where you thought the opening act's like, oh man, those guys were really good?
Well, yeah, but it's a bit the first one's cheating. So um, I'll come to your question in a sec. So just with that
Yeah.
extra bit, 87. So that was Temples in Flames and Birmingham NEC. So we've got
Right.
Roger McGuinn opening, and then
Oh my
then
God.
in the Heartbreakers come on and back McGuinn for the back end of his set. So I'm a bird's nut anyway, and then I've got them. So I'm super happy. Then I've got them, and then I've got Dylan, and I'm already loving Dylan. So that's an absolute dream. That's not answering your question. For incidentally, because I don't think we quite covered it, but yeah. So I saw the Great Wide Open Tour again, Birmingham. That was in '92.
Yeah.
Then I saw the Royal Albert Hall in June 2012, which was I think he was over for Isle of Wight. So he did two. I think he did two Albert Hall gigs and one Dublin gig, sort of around them.
Okay.
And that's when we got. That's when he was doing Oh Well with his maracas. And
Yeah.
then I went to the last one at Hyde Park. So I think four is when I saw Tom. I don't recall who the opening act was for the other. I can't remember if there even was one for the Albert Hall. Great Wide Open, don't remember. So probably not that memorable. And Stevie Nicks was great at the last gig. That was
Yeah.
a good one. So Stevie Nicks was very enjoyable. I'm a big Mac fan of all eras.
Of course.
I've for my little notes, I've put Teenage Fan Club, so I'm cheating a little bit. But I thought I probably should pick someone that would be willing to do it, as opposed to saying, "Oh, I want Neil Young to do it" or something like that. Because like I think Neil Young would do it. He'd probably say, "Flip the bill," and then I'll think about it or whatever. But yeah, Teenage Fan Club. So that's they're really songwritery, and for a lot of the career, they had three singer-songwriters that did 4 songs each on a 12-song album and
Okay.
interspersed them. They're all very tuney. They're quite real and heartfelt. Scottish, lots of harmonies. They also, it's guitars and melodies, heartfelt lyrics. They also did, just as a little connection, they did. There was a Judgment Night film. I don't recall what it was, but the soundtrack of that film is from '94. They put rock acts with rap acts.
Okay.
So so they did a song with De La Soul, and it was called Falling, and it sampled Free Falling, just falling, falling.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not saying, but I'm saying that's. I think they'd probably be up for it because they might have suggested that. They might have suggested Tom's. So I think they'd probably be fans. So you wouldn't have to twist their arm too much to get them to support. And I love
Okay.
them as well. So I would get a great double bill there if that was possible.
Deadly.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite band member other than Tom?
Okay. Well, Ben Mont's running a very close second in this because he's so versatile. But I've got to be a bit predictable and go for Mike. He's a guitar hero. He's got lots of that Harrison taste and sensibility in his playing, and I
Yeah.
already love Harrison, so he knows how to play for the song. Um, he's the songwriter. He's your number two on the biggest impact on the Petty catalog because he's not written as many of Petty, and all the ones he's written pretty much are co-writes, but he's there. And we know from Boys of Summer that um, a lot of his writing style is probably it gives a different side to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Opposed to them, he's bringing in almost an initial idea that Tom's then working on, maybe certainly lyrically and possibly with some of the melody, but a lot of
Yeah.
the backing, I'm presuming, has come from Mike from a demo. So, Mike's probably chosen chord sequences and so forth. So you get a whole. He's so essential. But if you think about that, I mean, I've never counted up the percentage. Do you know the percentage of Mike songs as Mike
As
co-writes
a
as a
whole,
percentage of the whole? Yeah, I don't know.
it's probably sitting. I've never actually done the math about it, but my guess would be somewhere around 10%.
Right.
8 to 10% would be my guess. So I'll calculate that after, and I'll message you. I'll see how close I am. That would be my guess.
Okay, but still not an insignificant amount. And
Absolutely not. No.
yeah, and long after dark, 40%.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the with Mike, Tom. Like I said, I've said this before. I think Tom Petty would have become
Oh,
famous to whatever degree, I don't know, but he would have been a famous just because that level of talent will out at some point, right? But I don't think you would have got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers without Mike and Benmont, and I mean, I don't think without Stan initially and without Ron, because the sound that they created together,
oh.
that's the band, and that's what gave Tom the platform to work from, right? So we all know, okay, Mike doesn't get a songwriting credit on a lot of these songs, but he's instrumental in if though you don't have those guitar parts in a lot of those songs that Tom wrote, they're
No.
not the same songs, right? I mean, or you think about something like Night Watchman, Tom's not going to write something like that. Or that
No.
little lick, he's not going to write something that strange and interesting and a little bit funky. It's not really his
Yeah.
wheelhouse, right? Certainly not at that time. So I think Mike's contribution to the Heartbreakers is absolutely measurable. Well, I mean, the proof is the pudding's in the eating, right? Mike's the only guy in the band who was on every album Tom ever made
Yeah.
because he couldn't do that. Mike, he needed Mike.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah. So he drags him along to everything.
Yeah, come here,
Excellent.
you. I need you. Oh, and by the way, we're recording in your garage, right? If you, if you could see any Tom Petty concert from history that you weren't at, which one would it be?
Well, I've thought I'm going to stay UK because it's the one I missed, and well, it probably wasn't pre-internet, but it was pre me having a computer at home.
Right.
So it was. I think there was 2 gigs when I look it up. It's only because I looked it up. It's April '99, Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Okay.
So it's Echo tour. Where it's a. I think they just whisked around Europe. I think there might have been a date in. There's a bootleg or something that's very high quality. So it's probably a radio thing from Amsterdam about this time. But so you've got from Echo, you've got Free Girl Now, Don't Want to Fight, Room at the Top, and Swinging. So you got 4 from Echo, which I love
Yeah.
Echo and love those. You've got a good chunk from Wildflowers. You've got Walls. I won't say too much. Walls and Angel Dream. So 2 great songs from She's the One. And then you've got them doing JJ Cale, Chuck Berry, Ray Charles covers. So when I looked, this is a bit after Fillmore, but Fillmore '99 as opposed to '97. But I think a bit of it was a smaller version of it. But I think a bit of the same thing went on.
Yeah.
Is that your understanding? It was still a bit
Absolutely.
jammy.
Yeah. It was still 100%. They were going back into the catalog and doing covers and definitely because I don't think it was obviously they only did what was it I think 8.
Yeah.
It was 8
So
days
not
the
the
second
20
time
or
around, right?
whatever,
So it
but
wasn't
yeah.
20, but
No.
I think that you think about that, the freedom that gives an artist to sort of
Yeah.
when you know that it's going to be a lot of the people are going to come back from multiple nights, so you sort of obligated to give them something different. Then it allows you to step outside the greatest hits kind of realm, right? To give you a bit more freedom.
But that gig, you got something like 25 plus song set list, and as I say,
Right.
there was still greatest hits. There was still hitting those great albums, and then still
Yeah.
some interesting covers. So I thought you go home happy, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I
But
mean, I
with
would have
that,
gone home. I think he's one of those artists, say that because it's well, I mean, especially now, like if we do a bit of time travel, if you go back to any era, really, you'd miss certain songs, but the set list was always just gold. you never look at a Tom Petty set list and think, yeah, well, it's all right, but I wouldn't necessarily want to hear that. I wouldn't hear that. There's no song that I mean, unless he starts breaking out, Mary's New Car or something, I'd be like, well, I could probably live without that one, but so, but okay. Well,
Mhm.
you just brought it up. Walls Circus or Walls number
Well,
three?
that's why I thought I would keep my powder dry there. So yeah, circus all day, every day. Now I like that
Yeah,
harmonica. I like that distorted blues harmonica in three, but
yeah.
it's a bit fast. I think. But now we've heard. I love the piano. I love that the slow driving praise, that sort of insistent piano, and then the wild card Lindsay. So Lindsay
Yeah.
Buckingham. Those harmonies. It's just. It's just. It's perfect. So
You know,
Lindsay.
people don't talk about Lindsey Buckingham as one of
No.
the all-time great rock vocalists. Have you ever noticed that? Like when you look at, I mean, we shouldn't look at lists because they're all crap. But you look at lists of great guitar players, Mike Campbell's never in there. You look at lists of this great, that great. Lindsey Buckingham's name doesn't show up that often. And I saw Fleetwood Mac live about 13, 14 maybe years ago or something. Not, so it's kind of tail end, and it was before Christine came back. So I didn't get to see Songbird, which really upset me. But I couldn't believe how good that guy was. I didn't know he was as good as that. I mean, obviously the records sound great, but you can sort of take that for granted when you see the guy live. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's a genuine rock star. Like and what a guitar player, by the way, as well.
Well, it's absolutely. I mean, it's quite. He is. I mean, I know they got Mike in for that thing, which is all a bit
Yeah.
awkward, I suppose. But yeah, he's doing a lot of the same stuff. It's like he's tasteful. He's a. I mean, Mike's got production head on, hasn't he? He's producer.
Yeah.
He's able to do his own recording. He's quite an independent artist, really, for self recording. Lindsay's got a lot of that in him. Just yeah, great tasteful guitar player. I suppose Lindsay's got that sort of the stronger voice, but yeah, completely versatile. I'm one of the greats. I'd have him and definitely my guitar top echelon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
so
If you could pick any artist to cover any Tom Petty song, who would it be and what song would they cover? I love
well,
this question. This has thrown up so many interesting ones.
again, I'm pleased I had a little bit of time to think about that one because I think I would have just taken up 5 minutes of humming an hour if not. So and I'm going to go back. You think, where are you just referencing them again? I'm going to get the Jayhawks and ask them if they'll do Runaway Trains. So the reason is that Runaway Trains is dogged by that drum machine
Yeah.
stuff or whatever's going on there, rototoms or something. There's a lot of programming on there, lots of synth pads. I think Gary Lewis, the singer of the Jayhawks, he could really soar with all the bits in the chorus and so forth. His voice would suit it. And then they've also got a keyboard player called Karen Grotberg, and she's fantastic with acoustic piano. So she would
Okay.
do loads of the wonderful sort of Benmont bits that are in that song. And I think it would just to my mind, I don't want to get someone to cover a song that is already perfect, which is loads of Tom's songs. I just think,
Yeah.
oh, it's not going to be quite as good because it's not Tom and so forth. So I was trying to pick one that was maybe marred by production of the time, and then you could like it because it's been freed of that, and that you suddenly go, oh, it's a great song. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I guess I'll go for Runaway Trains with the Jayhawks doing it. I did note actually when I was doing a little bit of, I just checked. I've got a bootleg version of 24th of July Jacksonville with the Petty and Heartbreakers, and that's got a bit of that in because they stripped that back because they're playing with just the band.
Right.
There's no sequencing going on or playing to click, so it's kind of rocking on I think there's quite a good Tom rhythm guitar going on there, or it probably is Tom just on there at that point.
Yeah.
And actually Mike's hanging back, just kind of coloring it. So Tom's really holding it down.
Okay. That's super cool. That's
Yeah.
a song that I was talking to my buddy Randy, who does all the music for the show. For the same reason, that's one that I'd quite like to take a stab at. Because vocally, I know I can sing that one. It's in my range. And I think that to do something different with that one, and like you say, take out that, because it's so time locked to the early 80s or to the mid 80s, right? And actually, I do like that song. And I like you were talking earlier about that sort of, Berlin or whatever. there's something nostalgic about it that I like it for it, as well as kind of thinking it would
Mm.
definitely be a better song if you updated the production aesthetic on it. You know, like if that would have been Wildflowers era, or
Mm.
or Long After Dark, you take
Mm.
it 4 years either
Either
way
way,
or 5 years either way, it definitely becomes a better song, I think. But good call, I like it. Okay, number nine, we're almost there. What song do you most frequently recommend to people who don't know Tom's music, if such a thing exists?
Well, I'm going to be quite obvious here, but I don't see a point in giving someone a deep cut. But if I think that's, I might say Have the Will Travel or something like that, or I'm Not My
Yeah.
G. But there's a risk it's a bit long, and there's a risk they'll lose concentration. So I just want to hit between my eyes with it. So I thought Mary Jane's Last Dance, because it would probably they'd get a bit of chili peppers in it. They'd get a bit of, I just think that it would just make them. And then you could probably, if they said Derek California or something, which I know it's not quite or whatever, but you could say, well, this is actually before it and so forth.
Yeah.
Also, think that's a funny song. You'll remember the term, because there was the thing in that sort of 93 time when Greatest Hits came out, they used to call them a purchase incentive track, didn't they?
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you hear
Yeah. Yeah.
that? Yeah. So they
Yep.
put Greatest Hits would be 15 songs you had, and then 2 you didn't, and it might just be what. And in the case of Greatest Hits, it had Something in the Air, which I loved, but that didn't end up being a hit. This is at least the UK version, and then Mary Jane's Last Dance, which
Yeah.
is Greatest Hits. So that was very prophetic of him to realize it would be a greatest hit, and then
Well,
seamlessly on.
well,
And it's an amazing track.
yeah. I mean, I've talked about this with again ad nauseum with other people. Without question in my mind, that is the best song on a greatest hits that was released with the greatest hits. I
Yeah.
don't know of anyone who's ever got anywhere close to that level of like, are you kidding me? This is the extra track you're giving us? Is this? Wow. That's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's your
Because
purchase
the
incentive track, and what a good
purchase
purchase it is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because I was thinking about like I remember when Van Halen's Best Of came out and Humans Being, I'm like, it's okay, and Me Wise Magic, Can't Get Stuff No More. I'm like, they're all right, but they're not greatest hits, and they shouldn't be on this album. And same thing with the band's just gone out of my mind now. Oh, geez, Louise, it's gone completely. But there's been a few bands where I think, yeah, it's all right, and kind of like purchase incentive. Yeah, I was going to buy it anyway, but I don't mind it. But it definitely isn't up to that caliber. But Mary Jane is like, what is that? I mean, that's top 20 petty for most people, I would say, most likely. You know, unusual. Okay, last question. Describe
okay.
Tom Petty in 3 words.
No, it's really hard. I haven't double checked on any of referencing anybody else. So I just thought cool, soulful, and real. Uh, and I think he's always been cool. He's like effortlessly cool. Uh, from his manner, the way he's looked, always
Yeah,
all years. He's never looked other than what I tell you, at home with himself. He's looked, he's never looked stupid. He's never chased fashion.
yeah,
He just looks really so. And just his demeanor, how when he talks, when you've seen him interviewing, he's been a talking head in various, you know, documentaries and stuff. He's always just so cool. It's
yeah, yeah,
voice
yeah.
is just wonderful. Soulful, yeah. He's got. If you're talking about what the thing is from a songwriter, from a person that's put on this earth to be doing things to touch the human spirit, yeah, soulful. It's got that in spades, and real, and that's probably using one of his words when he's no more or whatever, and all this. I think he more than anything else certainly from around that period when he was just not
Yeah.
not conceding to anything else real. So it's that runs through what I think is his very being. Yeah. So
I
that's why I
love it.
thought pick them.